is a tricky one. How many drops of nitroglycerine, delivered by way of a standard laboratory pipette from a drop of 16 feet, does it take to blow a 3-foot square hole in a 4,000-year-old Egyptian basalt slab carved with bas-reliefs of Pharaoh doing obeisance to the reinvigorated sun while doing as little collateral damage as possible? The answer, Jersey devoutly hoped, was 4. That was all the nitro he had left, having used the rest of the bottle getting this far. And it'd be a confounded shame to have gone to so much trouble and done so much irreversible damage to a designated World Heritage Site, only to wind up 1 drop short. In the event, he was proved right, at which he was so mightily relieved that he actually smiled. The echoes died away gradually, and with disconcerting echo effects. The acoustics in the basement of a pyramid are distinctly weird. Sound lingers, and just when you think you've heard the last of it, back it comes again, like audible stomach acid. Creepy like you wouldn't believe, not to mention the risk of somebody outside hearing. That would be very bad. Naughty echo. His timetable allowed 3 minutes for the dust to settle. Over-optimistic. He couldn't really see worth a damn, and had his handkerchief tied over his nose as he dropped his rope ladder through the newly blasted hole in the floor, checked one last time that it was securely anchored, and slowly began to climb down into the darkness. It had been a long day. To get this far, quite apart from the discomforts associated with setting off multiple explosions in a very confined space, he'd had to put up with a tiresome sequence of booby traps, walls that shifted and slabs that fell away when you trod on them, flights of poisoned arrows, razor-sharp pendulums, and all manner of similar nonsense. How come, if ancient engineers could devise stuff like that, nobody had managed to come up with a functional flush toilet until 1778? And his reserves of patience and energy were getting dangerously low. At this point, he should be trembling with feverish anticipation, not fatigue. Somewhere in the gloom below him, if he'd got it right, was the secret he'd been searching for all his adult life, the greatest discovery in human history, the key to the last and greatest mystery of all. He should be feeling something, apart from a splitting headache and a dull pain in his chest which he unrealistically hoped wasn't a cracked rib. After what felt like a lifetime, his feet touched down on something level and solid. Taking one hand nervously off the rope ladder, he fished out his flashlight and flicked it on. Floor. Thank God for that. He shone the beam up. The hole in the roof was a very, very long way above him, and he was glad he'd taken the trouble to secure the ladder with 4 molybdenum steel crampons hammered into the living rock. $29.99 from eBay. He was on a budget, but the Chinese make good stuff these days. Well, he was here now. Might as well get on with it. He shone the torch around the walls. An Egyptologist, or anyone whose aesthetic sense hadn't been blunted down to nothing by a really miserable day blowing holes in walls and dodging sudden death, would have been stunned by the beauty of the frescoes. Their colours as fresh and vibrant as the day they'd been painted, 2,000 years before a bunch of shepherds gazed across an Italian hillside, and one of them said, "I know."